the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, three boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and I feel good.
I'm John Gilardi, and I'm a sex machine.
It's true.
I'm Christian Ames, but you can call me Papa, and I am holding a brand new bag.
Oh, yeah.
Ow!
And you'll have to excuse us. We're maybe a little bit zany because we just had a shoot yesterday for our cyberpunk music video.
So we're all a little tired.
We're all a little...
But we watched an epic motion picture today.
Today we are going to talk about Get On Up, the 2014 biopic of James Brown starring Chadwick Boseman.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I think at large we'll talk about him and legacy. And kind of parlay Robin Williams in there.
Yeah.
And kind of explore that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's jump into the movie.
Okay.
Where do we start? Take us away.
Well, here's the synopsis. It's James Brown's life. James Brown, if you didn't know, was the godfather of soul. And he was really good at music.
Yeah. One of the first things he says is he left his footprint on music, and everything you hear today, there's some James Brown in it. And he says himself, it wouldn't exist without me. And he's the most heavily sampled artist. So even just like straight out 1-to-1, you hear him a lot. So pretty big figure in music, I'd say. Mm-hmm. And so it follows him. And I guess I will say, going in, watching this movie, I made me realize, wait, all these musical artist biopics are the same story, the same cadence, the same ups and downs. Yeah. But they all also have amazing performances,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a matter of time until we have the Bob Dylan one, or we have
starring Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, or something.
No, that's for real.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. So there
that's
you go.
Gonna be so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the Elton John one, but I saw saw Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oof.
Star is Born. I haven't seen that, but I'm sure it's very close.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a biopic. It's not a biopic.
That was just.
But is it fictional?
Yeah, it's fiction. That's actually the third remake of that movie. There was one in Judy Garland. There was one with Judy Garland in 1950 something, and there was one in 1980s with Barbra Streisand, and then they made another one with Lady Gaga.
Well, I would venture to say it has a very similar kind of trope.
He starts off from the bottom, then he builds his way up, then you see his dark side.
Well, and even the openings, and I have this is like, why does every music biopic have to start with them walking up before like some big performance, and like they're thinking about their entire life, like Walk Hard was accurate. That's like literally every like they're like, oh, he's got to think about his entire life, and he's walking through the thing, and it's a great shot, and it's just like, huh.
Yeah, Walk the Line. Obviously, Walk Hard parody.
Yeah.
Even like
Walk Hard is the Walk the Line parody.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of Walk Hard. What is
Walk
that?
Hard, the Dewey Cox story?
It's a parody
your
of
girl,
Walk the Line.
Jenna Fisher's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not.
She's
know
like
that.
acting way different than you'd ever seen her as Pam. It's weird. It's definitely jarring.
John C. Reilly plays
Dewey
Cox, but it's like kind of like he's kind of Johnny Cash. He's also like they just parody biopic movies and like movies in general. I don't know. It's a good movie. Okay. It's really funny.
I'll have to check that out.
But even sound like a Looney Tunes. But it doesn't stop at musical biopics. It's the same thing in like any of like the drug lord movies.
Yeah.
Like Blow with Johnny Depp, or any of them. The new one with Tom Cruise, American Made.
Yeah.
Even Lord of War, more or less.
Okay.
War Dogs, even. It's the same story of dude from nothing. Life's dope. They're doing it. They got the girl. It hit the rock bottom, and then they just kind of learn something in the end.
Which is why does that because again that's a story that's awesome. Everybody likes the story of the person who came from nothing and like blew up to succeed because of things that were out of their control and they took control, and it's like everybody likes that. But also sometimes it's like it feels like, I mean, it feels like it's like over. I don't know. I like they all hit the same beats and they don't do justice to the story that they're telling, or at least in my opinion. And using this as a specific example, I think
I could agree with that. That doesn't do it justice to the story, but it could be mainly because they're covering such large swaths of time. Mm-hmm. But they also always have amazing performances most of the time.
Yeah.
Even a random one, Edgar or
J. Edgar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Leo DiCaprio did a good job, but it's a movie that's so long and drawn out and just hits such familiar beats that you're kind of like, whatever. But in regards to this movie, Chadwick Boseman, he crushed out of the park because he's hitting a character's development over a course of 50 years or so.
Yeah.
And he is spry and young, and then he goes and acts like this old man, which is how the movie opens, right?
Yeah. It opens with him walking down the hallway thinking about his entire life, and then it goes to 1988 in Augusta where he
shoots
which is
off
like
the shotgun.
which is such a
what was he pissed about? Someone
shitting in his toilet.
Yeah, like that's.
And he had also smoked, I think,
angel dust.
Yeah, right before that, which we didn't see until. Well, I didn't put it together. Like I thought it was like at the beginning of the movie they have him walking down the hallway, and then there's just like a random shot of a joint being rolled, unless I like blinked and missed like them revealing that it was him.
And I missed it.
Okay.
I don't think
because it was just like shot of him walking down a hallway, pictures of drugs, and then it's like some random office.
Yeah. So the biggest, so it hits all the tropes. That's fine. You can still have a great film, a great experience with that. But I think one of the big places that it suffers is pacing. And the choice to tell the story out of order. There's several like interview sequences that they sprinkle in. There's performance bits, which it's a musical movie, so have the numbers on stage. But sometimes it just feels like, all right, he's on stage doing his thing.
Where are we?
Looks like it's the 70s, I guess.
What year is it? Where is he?
Yeah. So
also like my thing. I love the fourth wall breaks, but they were sprinkled so sparsely and like so far apart that it didn't feel consistent. Yeah. I guess it just like you just said, the pacing. Those. It was just like when he breaks the fourth wall, especially when he hits his wife, and the first time he breaks the fourth wall, and like he looks ashamed and he doesn't address the camera. That was a great moment, but like it just didn't feel consistent enough. But that very well could have been the pacing.
Well, and I have not a big thing about that, but it's like they used that like the breaking the fourth wall, and initially I was like, all right, cool. It's like him in 1988, and he's like being crazy, and it feels like it's like that was, all right, cool. He's like explaining, he's easing us into this movie, but then they never really established like rules with it. Like when is it? They more used the fourth wall to explain what the scene was about.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I mean, I just, They just didn't follow rules, and you have to have rules. Like you have to have the rules in order to break them, because if you keep, and that's like kind of my thing with this whole movie, is that we bounce around so much and it's so all over the place that we don't ever get into the rhythm of what's happening. And so when stuff happens, like we're having to catch up, and then we're already moved on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's why I didn't really enjoy the movie that much. I can't say it was a bad movie, but yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. We don't have enough time to linger or really grasp what's happening. It just kind of
it doesn't build momentum
pieced together.
Yeah,
because the Vietnam sequence is. When you look back on it, it's like, wait, why is this here?
Was there a Vietnam sequence?
Yeah.
I must have been asleep for that part. Let me preface.
That was a cool scene.
Let me preface. I got a really bad headache when I was watching this. I didn't.
It's like in the first 20 minutes of the film.
Oh shit! Well, I got a really bad headache. I was also eating some food and trying to work on something else while watching it. So it was
Nice.
it was a long day. I've had a headache all day. I'm not saying I fell asleep because the movie was boring, but it was a long day. This movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Anyways, sorry. Go back to it, John.
Well, so it's a cool sequence where he's going to go play at the USO show.
And he's like standing in the front, and he's
And he's like,
"Hey, you're not gonna get hit. You're with James Brown."
yeah, it's such a good display of his swagger. It's introducing it, and I guess that's why they put it there. But then you have later he meets LBJ,
Yeah.
which you see that scene I think after or during that scene, I don't remember quite. And then way at the end of towards the end of the film, you see the scene of him on the plane with his friend, and they're trying to figure out or his promoter dude or producer dude, and they're trying to debate what to do with meeting LBJ. And so the outcome of that scene is like, you just do you, it works out for you. So then he goes to LBJ, and he's just kind of like, he sucks up to the man, pretty much more or less to get his way to go perform in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Which is the scene at the beginning of the film.
Or like, yeah, right towards, and it's just like, no, and that's
So what are you getting from that besides, I don't like.
We never follow through with any of the emotional arcs.
Yeah.
Like throughout the entire movie. Like there's one.
His mom arc is.
That one scene exactly where it's like he is just done a show at the Apollo, and then they're like, "Hey James, your mom's here to see you." Someone who says she's your mom's, and like we cut away from that scene, and after he's like him and his mom make eye contact, and he's like, and then we cut to the thing, and it's him seeing his mom as a prostitute in this other town, and he's like, "Hey, it's me." And then we cut away from that scene, and we don't follow through with it. We don't follow through with either of those
The
scenes.
scene where
we come
she's like,
back
"You're
to
not
it.
my son," or she like turns him down. I don't
She doesn't
remember
even
what
say
cut
it,
to.
unless
Yeah.
I'm misremembering.
She
doesn't
just
even
kind of
say
shakes her
anything.
head at him,
She's
and
like,
he runs away. And he's just instantly just like, and runs away. I'm sad.
Well, they do come back to that scene of them because he's just like, hey, like he gives her money, like she's like, I'm sorry, like I was doing my best, I didn't know what I was doing,
Yeah. Which is
young.
a good scene too.
Yeah, but it just comes later on in the movie.
Yeah.
When the scene is introduced.
Or like, and this is like a little thing that they never did, is like him stealing the shoes off of the lynched man, and then they have like 2 more shots of the shoes.
Yeah.
And we never follow through with whatever that thread is.
It's true.
We just like, and again, like it's like, and I don't know, but it's like maybe that like he always wanted to dress better, so those were like, he saw nice shoes, he like took the, like, even it's morbid and it's terrible, and it's like a picture of his time. Like that's such a good image, him stealing the shoes off of a lynched man in order for him to then wear them when he later grew up. Like, and we never like we see him at 17 wearing those shoes, and it's like
That's it.
Well,
it's frustrating, I think, because there's amazing performances across the board, especially Chadwick Boseman, and there's a cool story to be told and an interesting character in real life, and his story to be told on the screen. And I think the story's there. I think they filmed enough stuff.
Yeah.
I just think the editing and the creative decisions in the story, are unfortunate, because I think there's something great here, and I actually enjoyed it fairly well for my viewing of it. I think more than you guys.
I would assume so. I got a headache and fell asleep, so I feel bad saying that. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman was impeccable. He disappeared into this
was so
role.
good.
I would say almost as much as Heath Ledger did into the Joker. Like the rasp he put into his voice, and
that
like
vocal
it was incredible.
The amount of vocal control to be able to to maintain that, that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
One
incredible.
of my thoughts is like, dang, his voice. I mean, after a day, maybe you got used to it, but I don't know. I feel like that would kind of wear on you. At least get a scratchy.
Yeah, dude, that would fuck up your voice.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah, I mean,
really
you'd have
fuck
to
up your voice.
You'd have to really work, like, because you have to. It's the same way that people do, like in screamo bands. Like you have to figure out where your breath is coming from in order to not, because you could do that voice, and then after 3 days, you'd be probably shot.
Yeah.
So in order to maintain that, to have like 5 or 6 days of shooting back to back, doing that voice, that's some serious vocal control and like breath control and conditioning. That's crazy stuff.
I used
And,
to. I used to work banquet events with a friend who was an opera singer, a professional opera singer, and he would speak in a way that would save his vocal cords.
Yeah.
And it was like he normally spoke like he would be like, "Hello, Christian." Huh? I can't even do it. It was like because how we normally talk, apparently
Yeah.
it strains our vocal cords, which
Yeah.
is why when you talk for so long, your voice. He would be like, "Hello, how are you? It's nice to meet you." And he would talk to guests like that too. "Could I take this
Especially-
coffee? Could I take this for you?"
It sounds
Especially
like
as a waiter.
American
Like, yeah.
Psycho.
Oh
I-
yeah, no, it's Chris or Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Because I remember, because I just remember like waiting tables like after like you work a 6-hour shift and you're like, "Hi, how you guys doing today? What can I get for you?" "Okay, cool, yeah." You're just kind of like killing time and like talking to people, and eventually you're just like you get out and you're like, "I'm talking like this now. I'm so tired."
You've been smoking cigarettes your whole life.
Yeah,
How you doing, folks?
So,
kind of like how I sound right now because I was yelling.
yeah. Well, so what are your positives from this? And then I think let's talk about some other movies he's been in.
The fake sweat man was making a killing. Whoever was making the fake sweat.
That was one of my biggest notes because we just, like Patrick said, we did a shoot yesterday where there was a lot of real sweat because we were in a warehouse with no air conditioning. So yours truly was dripping the whole time. I think I was probably sweating the most, but and I think I even said to somebody at some point, like, movie sweat looks good, real sweat looks bad, but the movie sweat in this when he's performing looked impeccable because Chadwick Boseman still looks sexy. He's suave. He's got that pompadour, and he's got those little driplets, but it's not real. Or at least we know it's not real. For those of you listening who think it's real,
It's not.
it's definitely
Yeah, the production design in this film was top notch considering the periods of time and all the sets and settings.
Yeah.
It
The
was
wig guy,
insane.
too.
The what?
The wig guy. Whoever was making the wigs for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, production design on this was top notch. And I don't know what the Oscar nominees were for 2014, but I feel like I should have been in the running just for the sheer volume, because it's a long movie. You have, I don't know, like 7 decades in this movie with many scenes in each decade. So hats off to that. I think that was one of my favorite things, and I just like I love historical stuff, so I got to draw a lot from that, and I enjoyed it. That's a big draw and a big enjoyment I got from it was the period piece aspect to it.
Yeah.
Which they did great with.
I think my biggest positive was just I don't know much about James Brown other than like the typical like wedding songs you hear. So I got to hear just like listening to the music and the songs they played throughout the movie. I could recognize a lot of samples that are used in rap, even contemporary rap and hip hop and stuff. And and more than that, just he is the godfather of soul, and more than that. As the resident musician of the group, it was cool to get exposed to a new, not a new artist because obviously he's,
but someone that you
50.
recognize a whole bunch, and then
But I didn't know much about. So, and hearing more of his music, and I love that scene where he's when he's a kid and he's boxing, and he falls down and he listens to the band, but you start to hear his style of music, but they layered this synth line under it, this like bassy synth line to make it more modern. And it was just like, because he even says at one point, like, "Oh, my music, it transcends the age." And it was that was my favorite aspect of the film.
I wish they had done that more. Like that scene could have been really cool.
Yeah.
But the music was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, even as I like bash this movie and I'm not positive, but it's like there's like bits of great, like obviously Chadwick Boseman is great, but like even Viola, like the scene with his mom, the rehearsal scenes with Craig Robinson, like those are my favorite. Like there's a lot of really good scenes in this movie, and it's like, the mom payoff scene, just the performances in general. The scene where he's in Paris with his friend, and he's like, "Man, it'd be cool if I had my own thing," and James Brown is like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Like,
that's probably one of my favorite Darkest Before the Dawn. No, actually, no. That was just whatever the turn to go into the dark times.
Yeah, the point of no return.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite moments of
Event
these
Horizon.
biopic kind of things.
Yeah.
Because it's so ruthless, and I don't know. But there's still an undertone of, I guess, pain.
Well, and I think too is like you would have got that he was scared of abandonment, or like that would seem would have hit harder too if we had followed through on some of those emotional arcs earlier on, or had things been a little bit more cohesive. I mean, there's a lot of really good moments. I wonder if like it was edited terribly, or what. I don't know.
I think there's a good cut of this movie somewhere. If not a good cut of this movie, or a different cut of this movie could elevate it easily. Forget the Snyder cut. I'd like to see a cut that sees through some really cool arcs or develops things that it only touches on, or finish things it has started.
Yeah, I think the editing was my biggest thing. Just the pacing.
I mean, what are like? I mean, I know we've said a few negative things, but one weird thing that I saw was like the weird Allison Janney cameo in the pool scene where she's being racist.
Oh yeah.
And then they're dancing.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this music is so good that
they're instantly like, look, what are all these people doing here? And then they're instantly just like vibing out. But I guess it was kind of a nice like, hey, guess what? Music brings everybody together.
Yeah.
Music is the universal language, man.
It was just a weird way.
Yeah.
It was very quick.
Yeah, weird and quick way to deliver that message in a movie that's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it could have been done much more effectively, I feel.
Yeah.
Same with Dan Aykroyd dying.
That was like, that's another weird thing with the weird timing. There's also a clip where Dan Aykroyd's
he's on a golf.
Well, no, so he dies, and then there's a scene where he's performing, but then it intercuts with another performance of the same song throughout that scene, and you see Dan Aykroyd cheering on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And then you cut to the in air quotes modern time of that performance. And I don't know what the purpose of that was.
I think that was, I think in the part that you're talking about, and again, I'm not 100% sure because I'm not in your brain right now. But I think is like whenever that was like towards the end of the movie where he's like, oh, here's all the people that have been here. And he's like kind of having his Force Ghost moment. I think that's what I read it as. If we're talking about the same moment,
it might be.
It was a confusing movie to watch because there's a lot of really great stuff, and
there's a lot of great. It teases greatness a lot, and even the Boston Garden scene. The payoff is weird, because it was the night that Martin Luther King had died.
Yeah,
and the Boston mayor is like, no, I don't want a show, and essentially James Brown is like, no, let's do a show, let's get people out here and kind of have some fun energy on this night, and so he's doing the concert and there's cops there on stage and people are just jumping on stage and they're kind of violently throwing them off, and then he's like, hold up, he's like, everyone come up here, and then he kind of shames them.
He's like, get off the stage.
Yeah,
what are you doing up here?
And then that was kind of the scene. It was
did you guys look up, is there actual footage of that happening? I didn't look it up, but I wanted to see if there was.
There's only footage at those things if there was.
Because this was in like 1843.
Because there's no. Well, no, but there's no camera, like no easy cameras and stuff.
Hi, I'm Christian Ames. I have no concept of time and space.
I do not. That's because I am constantly traveling through time and space.
He is quantum.
I'm the
jump. Quantum leap.
I'm like Captain Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan.
So what would you guys rate this movie?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll give it honestly give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
All of that mainly coming from the production design and the performances. So from all the artsy side of things, I guess the performance and the costumes and the sets were enough for me to give it that 3.5 records out of 5.
Okay, I'll give it. I'm gonna drop a bit lower. I'll give it 6 out of 10. for the same reasons you did, but it just the pacing, it just felt really long. But also, we're watching clips right now. Wanted to also applaud Chadwick Boseman's dance moves. Oh man, he's got the moves.
He did some of his singing.
Nice. He did.
He did some of. I looked it up. I was like, did he do any? He did some of his singing.
That was
and
another
all
thing
of his dancing.
That felt a little bit. That took me out a little bit. Was when you could clearly tell that they were using a recording of James Brown.
I mean, but that,
especially in the live performances.
But that dude's got such a unique
he's a
voice.
one in a million.
Yeah, for sure.
One in a
I'm
billion.
not expecting Chadwick Boseman to
Person.
actually nail his voice, but yeah, I think that the Queen movie. What was that?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody did a better job of making it feel like it was actually coming out of his vocal cords. That actor, I forget his name.
Rami
Malek.
Yeah. Better than this movie. But anyways, 6 owls out of 10. How about you, Patrick?
I'm gonna give it 4.75 out of 8.
So just over 50%.
Just over 50%. I'm gonna get, and they're gonna be slick Chadwick Boseman dance moves.
The split drops.
Just like, the split drops and like the feet.
So,
Black Panther.
well,
just
he's got a few other films.
he's got
What?
Which
there
again,
is more than Black Panther.
I loved everything I've seen him in, and even Defy Bloods.
yeah.
My biggest thing I enjoyed from that was him, and he was in it for so little, and now we know why, more or less. I mean, I don't know if it was just like a budgeting thing, but or maybe it was his capability. But I love that movie. The first thing I saw him in was Draft Day, which is an awesome movie. He kind of plays like a first round draft pick talent who the Cleveland Browns want to take a chance on, and he's just such an endearing character, and I think that's a quality that he has across all his roles, and I think that's who he is as a person, and what he really brings to all his roles, be it even his role in Gods of Egypt, but obviously Black Panther, and then the character in Draft Day, and he definitely would bring that. He definitely brings that in 42, I'd say, without a doubt, without even seeing it. I know that's right on my list right now to see, but like, I don't know. I think that's one of his top qualities as a human being. And
I auditioned for 42.
Really?
That was like
you did?
Yeah. I auditioned to be like some racist baseball player in 42.
Oh, that would be fun.
Well, it would have been fun, but I didn't get it. So, but that's like the first time I heard of him, it's because they were like, oh, Chadwick Boseman. And I was like, who? And then it's like, oh, okay. I mean, and I think one of the things that really strikes me is that he had cancer for 4 years, and probably his busiest stretch of his career. And like, I mean, people did like the Wakanda sometimes where he looks like a little bit like less than enthusiastic about doing the Wakanda Forever for people, because like
out in public.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, man. You don't ever know what people's going through.
Yeah.
You don't ever know.
And he was so private about it too. Like nobody. It came as such a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, there's between just like celebrity deaths this year, like Kobe Bryant was like a big wake up of like life's precious. It can happen any moment, and then his was a whole new thing where it's just you don't know what someone's going through, and just the resilience that they may have.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously two are huge hits and just more shit on this shitty year, but I don't know.
I think we're kind of reaching the part, and we're reaching the part like of 2020 where it's like,
what's next?
And it's just like, it really, like, I feel like every year there's been like, the last year that I like, the David Bowie and Prince died or something like that, as people were like, oh, this year was that 2016? I have no idea.
Well, I remember whatever year that was, the shittiness of the year was predicated on some huge celebrity deaths.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been just 2019.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Which for me was personally was a great year. A lot of personal growth and happiness.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So it was a weird contrast. It's like, wait, this is just a whole different level, different conversation. But like, are we basing our happiness off of the death of old people who are pretty old?
But this year, I mean, year
they're young.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's been like also like we've got wildfire. I mean, again, everybody who's listening also knows that 2020 sucks.
Yeah.
What? It's been a great year for me. It's been a fantastic year for my personal growth.
But
just kidding.
Well, yeah.
I'm kidding. 2020. Ugh.
I mean, it's been a good year for some people. A lot of people have been able to really work on
Well,
their
if it's
mental
been,
health
if you're
with
listening
year.
to this podcast and 2020 has been a good year for you, go fuck yourself.
But and even as I say, like,
He said that facetiously, by the way.
how do you know?
I don't think.
Oh,
I don't know. Your
God.
face was pretty serious, but I just put it out
but it's
there.
like even as I sat here and like said that Get On Up was bad, or I didn't like it. You should still watch it because it's important. It's important to support, and it's cool to see someone doing their art. Mm-hmm.
Which is what I love the most about it.
Yeah.
Like just that passion, that drive.
Especially because it feels like he was. I mean, he had been in the industry for a long time, but it felt like he was like hitting his stride, at least from the outside.
Yeah, I think really kicked off with. I think looking at it,
Like
Draft Day and 42 really kicked him off.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think 42 is what got him the job for Black Panther.
Because before then, he was, because I got his IMDb up right now, he was like grinding and doing some shorts, showing up on some TV series. And, he had like a series regular on a TV series, Lincoln Heights. Then he was in Persons Unknown. Some more series regular stuff. And then he hit 42, which is like, that's a big get for someone who's like coming, like, then you get to play Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
And then 42, Draft Day, and then Get On Up. Like he hit it, And then Gods of Egypt, which was a movie. And then Captain
I enjoyed
America.
that movie. It was obviously
what
bad,
it
but I
was,
enjoyed it.
It was like
It's
a
the same way.
comic,
It's the same way you enjoy 28 Days Later, or like those like kind of.
Well,
movies.
okay, the
Whoa,
first
hold on,
28
hold on.
Days
28
Later
Days
is a
Later is
really
really,
good movie.
really good.
If you're talking Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, we can have that discussion.
Oh, sorry,
but
not 20.
don't
I don't know why I said 20 Days Later. The Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Like, sorry.
Thank God,
sorry,
I just
a
wiped
movie
some
with the
sweat
really-
off
I
my
was like,
brow.
oh my God.
Like just a really like a movie that's ridiculous.
Cillian Murphy,
Yeah.
fucking killing it.
Or like, cause I love watching those, I love watching those like big action movie spectacles. Like,
Yeah, which
Like-
that movie is in spades.
like I started watching Prince of Persia, and that movie is terrible. But it's also like it's just fun. It's just like eating candy.
Yeah.
Side note: I do want to do a podcast where we watch Day After Tomorrow and Geostorm,
Oh boy.
the recent Gerard Butler movie where people control weather.
I feel
Oh,
like
wow.
Day After Tomorrow is going to be leagues better. Just I've only seen Day After
It's
Tomorrow.
more just like what? Oh, I guess there is other. There's 2012, which is another natural disaster film,
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's
and then there's the
the
going with the
Cord,
rock.
there's
Is
San
it
Andreas. There's so
yeah,
many.
San
We
Andre-
love
yeah.
blowing up the world. We love this planet so much. We want to fuck it up.
Yeah,
But
So-
I mean,
obviously his biggest role, and why he's so near and dear and to so many people's hearts is Black Panther,
yeah.
and so that's
never heard of it. What's that?
it's a Marvel movie.
For the kid who
was-
hasn't seen Marvel Black Panther.
He was Black Panther, T'Challa, in four Marvel films.
Yeah, how many?
Captain America: Civil War, Black Panther.
Oh, that was the
Infinity
first time he
War,
showed up, right? Civil
Endgame.
War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty big role. I mean, obviously, he had a pretty big role in that. But it's like, I just, again, I'm a white dude, but just seeing the reactions of people having that hero that they could have.
I mean, there's
Dude,
no doubt,
I have a
like-
beautiful anecdote. When we went to see Black Panther, I was sitting next to a little black boy, and he was literally sitting on the edge of his seat the whole movie. And it was so cute. And it was like a pretty profound moment for me because as three white dudes, we have all these superheroes: Batman, Superman, every attractive, beautiful, chiseled white guy.
Anakin
but it was a
Skywalker.
really profound moment for me to actually think about like seeing that representation as a person of color, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. So
I had a similar experience just walking out and seeing just kids excited.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see that in the reaction online. You know, these kids, you know, how it's hit them. It's the role was so monumental for representation and giving so many kids that figure, and so it makes it. I mean, death is always tragic, especially something as sudden and the 4 years of doing it in silence, but it just adds a whole new layer to it. You know, can you imagine? There's no parallel to it. I can't I can't put in a analogy. I guess it's
sudden,
but his impact has been so positive. So that, you know, it's positive. It's the same thing again with Robin Williams. You know.
Yeah, I think one of the things that hits me is like the grace in which he sort of like handled his cancer. And I mean, I don't know, but it's just like, I don't know, it's such a big thing because you're this hero, and to be able to control your own terms with stuff, it's like, I don't know, because that's something like Kobe Bryant. It's like you don't get a chance to do that.
Yeah,
you know.
And the fact that he was going to St. Jude's Hospital and visiting kids with cancer while he had cancer.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, we were talking about this yesterday. That is the definition of a real-life superhero. That is a superhero in the flesh. Like, doesn't get better than that.
I mean, it's always nice to see when a movie star is a really good person.
Yeah.
Especially when they play characters you love so much. Mm-hmm. It just makes the whole experience, the whole idea of that character, so much better. And again, with someone as Black Panther, you know, it just makes it so much more powerful, and why it's hitting people so hard.
Mm-hmm. That was perfect timing because we're watching clips from the movie and Chadwick Boseman punched someone right as you said that. That was just like good timing. But yes, I like what you said, Patrick. He handled it with such grace.
Yeah.
His sickness.
I mean, I don't.
It's how he wanted to handle it. You know, there's no right or wrong way, and he.
It's sad.
It was his way, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Let's.
You mentioned yesterday, like how Robin Williams. There's feels like there's some parallels here.
Well, I mean,
there's not some. I mean, because Robin Williams got to grow at least 20 years older, and that much more film and stuff, and you know, 20 more years of reach, I guess. But there was a feeling of a sudden.
Yeah, especially with something again, and that comes at a different time for me. Like I know that's one of those things where you know exactly where you were when that happened, or how you found out or whatever. And for me, Robin Williams was like a hero, or someone that I was like, you know, he's a goofy chubby guy doing funny voices. He gets to do, like, I don't know. He's just someone who like defined my childhood, and then also like carried over into as I continued to grow and do stuff. It's like he didn't mirror it, but it's like I got to discover more about him. It's someone that I always went back to.
And he's also just like a really good, endearing guy.
Yeah. And then so like when he passed, it's like you don't, and like I said, it's a different time where it's like I didn't know or didn't recognize that he was like depressed, or you didn't know because I don't know, I didn't watch interviews like I would now or anything, and it's just like it's just incredibly shocking to just suddenly lose someone who's unofficially that much of a part of your life. Like they have no concept of the amount of impact, or they maybe do, but it's like what it just I don't know, I'm struggling.
You're good.
I think especially for people in that big of a public eye, I think there's a pressure with that they know that a lot of people think or look up to them like that. So there's this inherent pressure because it's a different story with Robin Williams because he had a lot of, it wasn't necessarily cancer. It was like depression. It was an interior, like a darkness that he was holding in, and like nobody saw it except him. And they say that about a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
Like they make the world laugh because they're trying to make themselves laugh.
But then he have a deteriorating condition which accelerated his anxiety.
I think they just figured that out. He had like basically sort of dementia, but like because I remember he was doing like the director for like the last movie he did was like he would call him and be like, is this any of this good? Like I don't even know, like he would forget lines and stuff and not be able to. He wasn't able, like he was like, I'm supposed to be, again, just like already having depression and then forgetting who you are, but knowing what you're supposed to do to be great or whatever. Yeah. That's got to be incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
But just for me personally, like the impact, like just not emulating, oh my gosh, empathizing. You know, with all those people who finally got to see a black superhero, and, you know, not that I finally got to see a white comedian or whatever, but it's like having that person who filled that hole in me
that you relate to, something that you directly relate to,
force in your life.
Yeah.
And then I have that.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's tough. It's
sad. Dude, after Robin Williams died, I watched Hook, and I cried like a baby at the end. Even though there's nothing sad about the end of Hook, it was just like,
It's cliche, but my Robin Williams movie is Flubber. No, it's Good Will Hunting.
I did, yeah.
Flubber.
I remember, like, I love Flubber.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It just popped in my head. I was like, I'm going to say Flubber. Because
John, if you
don't think about it, but you know, it's always there in your head because you did see it as a kid. But yeah, Good Will Hunting is
John. You love Flubber,
movie.
And it's not your fault.
No, I see what you did there.
It's not your fault,
guys. We're gonna start a new podcast, Flubber Watch.
We're Flubber Watch.
Listen,
I love Flubber. I watch Flubber. I watched the hell out of Flubber.
I never saw Bicentennial Man.
I tried to watch it, but again, I tried to watch it too young, and I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, I think me too. I was same with artificial intelligence.
Both those movies hit those biopic pacings.
Yeah.
I mean, any movie that takes place over 8 decades, you're just gonna have that. But God, those movies are depressing because it's like about passage of time and how time has no mercy.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, even as a kid, I remember watching, like, fuck.
I just remember being like him slowly turning into a human or something.
Yeah, he gets, as technology advances, and then the people he loves, he remembers this little Sally Sue, the little girl he would play with, and now she's dying as an old woman, and like her daughter is an old woman too, and like there's grandkids he doesn't even know. I think I'm kind of making this up, but that's the idea of the film is that
that's so
I feel
existential.
Like I do that. I do that a lot where it's like I feel like I remember a film that I watched a long time ago, and then I'm like, am I making up this part, or is this actually the movie?
Yeah. I'm definitely experiencing that with rewatching things, even just something like Space Jam. Like in my head, Bill Murray was on the team kicking ass
like
the whole game,
just for that little bit.
But he's only there for 10 seconds. Like that. I can't get over that. That blew my mind. I was like, what am I? The thing is, with memory, you're remembering a memory. You're not remembering it. Yeah. Reality. I don't know.
Another like really, another like celebrity death that like hit me really hard in like a weird way that I didn't expect. Because again, they're people that you never know. Yeah. Or you're probably never gonna say hi to. But what Mac Miller, whenever he died, is because like I hadn't discovered him, but I listened to him when he was still just on YouTube making like mixtapes and stuff like that, and I was like, hell yeah, I love Kids, his mixtape album. And it was so like I was 18 and he was 17, and so it was just kind of like someone that we grew up together, and I got to follow him as he like kind of came into doing more stuff, and then like Swimming came out, and I was like, hell yeah, this is great. I love this direction that Mac's going. And again, it's like he doesn't know me, but we're on first name basis.
Yeah.
And then it's like he's gone, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Think about all the super fans out there, not just for Mac Miller, but anybody who feels like they actually, like you kind of jokingly say, I know them on a first name basis, but there's a lot of people who actually feel like that.
Yeah.
That are like,
yeah, I mean,
people shouldn't die.
More or less, celebrities are the gods of our day.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't worship. Essentially, we do.
We worship with money.
Yeah. So conceptually, the impact they have is
commerce.
They're not all Kardashian, just living in mansions, making money off of being dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, they are being dramatic in the traditional sense of the word, actors. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do you guys know that Denzel Washington paid for Chadwick Boseman's college? Like he got a scholarship, and Denzel Washington, like he couldn't afford it, and Denzel Washington paid for him to go to Oxford University to study acting.
How did they know each other? Were they?
He went to Howard, but then he went to Oxford for like graduate school or something.
Oh, shit.
Did they know each other from something like a short or?
No, I mean
this before.
This was. I mean, he was still Chadwick Bosemaning, like being just like regular walk down the street. You're like, hey, there's Chadwick Boseman.
I was surprised to hear he was 43. I thought he was 33.
Dude, I thought he was like 23. I can't believe he was.
No,
43.
I mean, that's and then persistence.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to Howard University, and then he went to the British American Drama Academy, and that man Denzel Washington paid for it.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, Denzel.
Yeah, which is like, one icon giving, and probably just like, and at the time, I'm sure Denzel Washington was just like, yeah, I'll help this kid get his like scholarship. Throws him $50,000 or whatever it is, and it's just like, I just did a nice thing, and then it's like, he turns into Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I'm sure Denzel saw the promise in him too.
Oh, sure.
Also, I'm sure the education at Oxford was probably a lot more than $50,000.
Sure, yeah.
It's probably like, I don't know, what do they talk like in Oxford? That would be $2 million to get an education.
Pounds, right?
Yeah.
£2 million.
Actually, at the time, it was probably euros.
No, England's always stayed with pounds.
Oh, okay.
Like England.
Wait, so where do they do euros? They do
in the European Union.
Well, not
everywhere
anymore.
except for the UK, I think.
I think they stuck onto it for whatever
Really?
reason.
Mm.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's probably like one or two other countries in the EU. I mean,
It's like us with the metric system.
all the
Like we
Scandinavian
use-
countries don't use euros either. They have each of their own.
Really?
Yeah.
The Netherlands does.
Yeah. I mean, the mainland, like Germany, France, and those
Yeah.
those ones around those two huge countries all use it, especially because it's the open borders is the main thing.
Yeah.
So you're not. I mean, there's the English Channel highway, but it's such a weird conversation. How do we talk about
the English Channel Highway.
whatever the tunnels across the English Channel?
The channel. That's
Yeah.
what they call it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
channel tunnel.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
right.
the
That's
channel.
right.
But yeah, you're gonna have the euros in the mainland bordering.
Do you think Chadwick Boseman ever went on the channel?
I don't know. I want to go on the
would.
channel someday. You get in a car
It's
and
such a
then you
funny
go
word.
through a
And
through a tube, right?
and my mom's from Norway, so I've been to Norway a bunch, and the Norwegians, there's only 5 million of them, and they're stupid, filthy rich, and they're like crazy engineers and stuff. So they just like do these
I thought
crazy.
you were about to say they're all stupid.
No, but they do these crazy engineering projects, just like let's do it. And so they built this like 2 mile down tunnel just in this little island in southwest Norway, and then you go down and it's just huge like donut of open space. Like there's a huge pillar of the bedrock, but around it is just this huge giant roundabout. It looks like a giant flying
Have you
saucer.
been in it?
Yeah, I went in it.
Dude,
and
that's
it was
so-
literally
Wait,
just a
I
cut
don't
off.
understand what you're explaining.
So
It's 2 miles deep in the earth.
this stand
Okay. Visual gags for a podcast.
invert things like
Okay.
this whole
is the bedrock.
Is the bedrock, and it's just this huge open area, and it's just
so it's just for no. It's just
it was a cutoff
underground.
It was a cutoff like 10 minutes.
So basically,
of a
Norwegians are so bored and rich that they're playing Minecraft in real life.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Notch is Swedish.
Oh, Hans, let's go deep into the earth and
Anyway,
let's build a giant bedrock donut.
I've been in some cool tunnels, and they're
Damn,
cool.
dude.
Hey, this is Tunnel Talk with John Gilardi. Hi.
New segment of the podcast.
Yeah.
John's gonna
Checking
be
out my tunnels.
Our resident spelunker.
There's a floating highway, a floating tunnel or something they're building over there too.
What?
Dude,
Yeah.
what are
What are they doing
let's
over there?
Move to Norway. Jeez.
What's the? Oh, have you guys
The
been on
happiest place on
the
earth.
in New Orleans, the bridge? There's like a 7. It's not this. There's a 7-mile bridge in Key West, but there's like a across Pontchartrain Lake, and you can't, like, you're on the middle of the bridge and you can't see the land.
Yeah.
on either
Holy
side.
Shit.
And it's like, it's terrifying.
You get a taste of
Wait, it's
going
over
Outer
a
Banks.
lake?
Yeah.
And the lake is that big that you can't see across it.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy
think
Louisiana's a
shit.
swamp.
yeah.
Damn, dude.
Well, and also think about, and this is crazy, like, think about how big, having been to Chicago, it's like Lake Michigan, you look out across it and you can't see the other side, and that's a lake. And then you think about how big the ocean is. Anyway, get on up.
It's like a stoner's podcast, man.
I know.
Tunnels, man.
We're all three of us are very tired.
Dude, that's why people listen to podcasts. It's
It
for
is-
the derailment, you know?
It's true.
Getting all
It's
over
true.
the place.
Well, I guess,
But-
obviously, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
An
I loved
icon.
I loved everything I've seen him in. I want to watch 42. I want to exhaust his discography because
I wish
I have seen most of it, but I do want to watch the rest because I have enjoyed everything I've seen him in.
I feel like I've exhausted his discography. I don't know if he did any music.
Well, that's the sad thing is you look at it and it's about 20 movies, and everything that he's in, it's great. It's
Yeah.
compelling. He does a killer job and everything. So
I wish I got
Yeah.
that role in 42.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
You could have played the racist baseball
Well,
player.
no, I don't want to. But it would have been cool to get a job on a thing. But also would have been cool to have, like, I don't know. I don't have a story, but like
To have worked with him.
to have worked with him.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have played catch. He could have been my dad.
You could have a catch. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I'm disappointed for myself, but it's also really nice to see, like, again, that he was 43, perseverance, and also like the fortitude to be able to undergo cancer treatment for, like, again, I keep going back to that. 'Cause he had cancer for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his busiest period of his career. I say again for the second
And
time
he
on
was
this
still
podcast.
he was yoked, he was ripped, he was
was
keeping
yoked.
up this beautiful appearance, going and talking to kids with cancer, like taking
It's
pictures.
definitely an
like-
inspiration.
Yeah. We could all aspire to be more like that. I know if I get cancer, I'm going to throw a pity party. I'm going to be like, everybody get a JT Music Patreon and donate to me. But no, Chadwick Boseman is a real hero. Be a hero. Don't be me. Be Chadwick.
There's always negativity in death, but there's a lot of positivity to take from what he gave the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Amen.
So what are
Amen.
you guys watching?
Ooh, I'll start. Last night, I watched the 1989 Batman
Okay.
with Michael Keaton and
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
1989's Batman.
1989's Batman, and
I can
it
say that.
was so dope. And there was so much inspiration taken that Christopher Nolan took from that movie, and Heath Ledger, which we've of course we all love Heath Ledger's Joker, but
I fucking hate him.
I
think he sucks.
Oh, Patrick, our resident edgelord over here.
That's me.
What a silly
but
goose.
I found, because I loved that movie as a kid, and I would watch it. I had it on VHS. I would watch it over and over, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid. So it was cool to rekindle my love for Jack Nicholson's Joker. He's incredible. He's incredible. He really paved the way for, I would argue, kind of paved the way for Heath Ledger a little bit. So it was great. I loved it. How about you guys? What are you watching?
Still going at Legend of Korra.
Get it, dude.
Good show. Just the theming they play with on a kids show and how they play around with it, and making compelling. You know, hats off. World building's dope.
John is sponsored by Legend of Korra.
I'm just a big fan of the Airbender universe, and then, or the Bender universe, whatever they call it. And then watch Gettysburg,
Okay.
which is so much better than Gods in General.
Isn't that a sequel? Or is
Gods
that
in
the prequel?
General came out later, but it's before
Yeah.
Gettysburg.
I
But
knew they were like connected
yeah,
because they have the same actors or something, right?
yeah. Like Jeff Daniels plays Joshua Chamberlain of the 20th Maine.
In the role of a lifetime. In the role of a lifetime.
As a kid growing up, and Maine, they don't have a lot of famous people or heroes from Maine or whatever. So, kind of Joshua Chamberlain of the 20th Maine were like mine growing up. I guess this Maine regiment that held the Union left on the second day of Gettysburg. So it was fun to go back and watch that.
I actually have watched quite a bit. Apparently, I watched Hot Rod in order to prepare for our music video.
Nice. I need to go back and watch.
It's
the
a
Lonely
good,
Island
and
stuff.
the thing that's great about it is it's only like an hour and 15 minutes long, so you just like
Pop
I
it
don't
on.
know. It's so fun. I can't believe that they got it greenlit, and I can just see some like, especially with a lot of the stuff that Andy Samberg and any of the Lonely Island guys do. It's like the first time they show it or they pitch it, and it's like the executives are like, "That's funny," and it's like, "All right, yes, it's funny. If you see it, it's funny." Like I bet you, like Laser Cats, like the way that Lorne Michaels reacts to Laser Cats is probably how people are like, okay. I also watched Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
For the first time?
No, not for the first time.
okay.
It was one that I've been like I watched that movie for the first time and was like, man, I fucking love this movie. And it was like something that you save, as sort of like, again, gearing up to the shoot that we had. And it's like, oh, it's stressful and there's a lot of stuff going on. And then, you kind of put on like something that's like, hey, this is something I enjoy. This is why I like it. And it's like, hey, here's a little quick like serotonin, like calm you down. You enjoy stuff, keep going. And then I watched Lovecraft Country, which is pretty freaking great.
I really liked the first episode. The second one was still fine, but I need to keep watching. But the first episode definitely is cool.
Yeah, they start off that. I'm excited to see where that show goes.
Yeah,
I am going to watch that when I get home tonight.
HBO.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch the third episode.
HBO
Not tonight.
Max. Wait,
Yeah.
how many episodes are there?
So
right
far,
now?
there's only 3.
Oh, just 3.
Like, what's so I get what HBO Max is. It's supposed to be a Netflix, and I think it's cool because it's bringing a lot of WB properties. That's
Yeah.
cool. But where does HBO Now and HBO Go and an HBO TV subscription fall in that? Like that's not been clear. The naming is confusing.
Yeah, I just know that HBO Max isn't on Roku for whatever reason.
Which Roku is supposed to have everything.
Yeah. Well, it's not on Roku. HBO Max is not on Roku.
Well, I think maybe
which is why
Roku's...
I had to rent Batman Begins because I couldn't get it and I wanted to watch it on big screen.
Yep. Yeah, our DM and our D&D campaign, I guess. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah.
He said the same thing. Yeah, no Roku.
Yeah, so it's like, ugh, get it together. I guess I could put it on my Xbox. I didn't think about
You can.
being able to watch stuff from my
That
Xbox.
software updates more, and the hardware is definitely up to date. I think the stop with the Roku is that the hardware is already pretty limited, and the software updates only go so far. That's my guess. But who knows? I mean, it's just an app. I don't know. Who knows what's going on there?
HBO Max, get out of here.
Check back next time on the
We'll
streaming app. Watch.
We'll figure out what HBO Max is one day. And then also basketball. I'm always watching basketball. It was really cool that they boycotted, and it was really cool to see that. Like I watched it live
Oh shit.
whenever I was gonna watch, because it was just like gonna be on in the background while I was doing some work, because I have the NBA TV thing, which is also another confusing thing. Like, why do I have ESPN Plus if I can't watch any games of ESPN Plus? Like the whole reason I have all these things is so that I don't have to buy cable. But you want me to buy cable? Anyway.
They should. The NFL's a nightmare with that stuff.
But
You need like 5 subscriptions to watch your football team throughout a season.
yeah, and I have the
bullshit.
NBA TV and I have NBA League Pass, so I won't watch any but they're like, oh, you could listen to this game, but you can't watch it. It's like, well, why am I paying you?
Yeah.
Why am I? But
It's old world money and
because they don't want to let cable die.
yeah.
They're clutching to it.
This is like a real okay boomer. Like, okay boomers, fucking cut your cables. Let's kill off
Come on,
the cable thing finally, so
it's
we
like
can
ad stuff. I
Yeah.
I feel like I get it, but it's also like make it simpler. Make it easier for me to understand what I'm getting.
Yeah.
But I was watching it. I had it on the background, and they didn't come out, and it was like, okay, tight.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's something they talk about, and I think one of the guys, Marcus Spears, in 2014 was like they should have boycotted when Donald Sterling was a huge racist. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just, I think it's awesome to see them, like, even as a person who loves watching basketball, and like I like watching basketball, but it's like to see them using
their platform,
and then all those useless post-game interviews anyway. They're like, hey, you know what? We hate these anyway, and now we're going to talk about social issues, and they have no choice but to go in all in on it, and it's awesome. I mean,
it's
the whole shut up and play, shut up and dribble crowd are probably 95% of them are just closeted racists, if not just outright racist.
Yeah.
It's just like, of course, like the lack the empathy and understanding that this is a platform and they're using it for their communities, for their families, for their loved ones. For anyone of any problem or movement or charity even or anything they feel, that it's their platform, they can use it.
Yeah.
And so
it's stupid.
It's cool to see the NBA doing that so strongly, where we know the NFL, it's going to be interesting to see how much they have to Oof. And that's also a combination of how much Trump targets the NFL.
Which he's gone after them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This podcast is kind of long, weird places, but
I did want to say, have you guys seen the clip of that baseball sportscaster saying the F word?
I did.
It's so funny. Because he gets fired on air, but he's still trying to cast the game.
But then he calls the home run.
And it's so funny.
Well, it's like he's going through extreme shame, which is so deserved, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
But he's like he's maintaining.
He's trying to maintain. But then the best part at the end is when he's like, I should hope this doesn't represent me, and if there's anybody out there who knows me, I should hope you could back me up on this. So like he's just clambering for some support.
I don't know if I actually don't think I've seen what you guys are talking about, but I did see the clip of him actually saying
watch the whole thing.
It's the weirdest home run call in the history of the world.
My gosh.
It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Well, with that, we'll finish this podcast finally.
Yeah. Hit us up. Come, hey, it's a Stinky podcast. Stinky. Oh, stinking shit.
Well, do we want to tease what we're watching next, or what we might be watching?
Or yeah, we're watching Batman.
No.
We're not.
We're watching
Mulan.
Next week we'll be watching Mulan.
Let's see.
September 6th. Am I making that up?
Okay. Maybe somebody can finally make a man out of me. Ha ha ha.
No, or September 4th, Mulan comes out.
Yeah.
And then the podcast will go live September 8th.
September 8th.
So yeah, well, I mean, go watch Mulan. I think it's gonna be like $30, but if you get a couple friends or watch with your family, you know, you're gonna if you're gonna go watch in the theaters anyways, it's the same amount of money.
I think it's
cheaper.
It's interesting. It's like, I don't know. That's his whole thing. We could talk about that later, but
that'd be a good discussion for the Mulan podcast, probably.
Yeah, because I'm so sad that they don't get a theatrical release.
Yeah.
I wish that they got a theatrical release, because again, representation is important, and like anyway. But hey, it's a Stinky Popcorn Boys podcast. Come for the movies, stay for the tunnel talk and the
Norwegian digging.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter at Stinky Podcast and tell us what you think we should watch next. Pitch us your movie. Tell us your favorite movie. Talk to us about Chadwick Boseman if he touched your life, or Robin Williams, or Mac Miller, or David Bowie, Prince. Yeah. Tell us your dead celebrity story, how they did to you, and then rate and review the Stinky Podcasts.
Sweet. You got anyone? James Brown us out.
Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wakanda Forever.